If you're a regular viewer, you'll know that we like to keep our vlog as close to real time as possible. But in the last couple of months we've slipped because we've had so much to cover. So we address that in this week's episode, in which we travel across 2 different countries and cover over 200 miles in just 15 minutes.
So this episode is all about the sailing.
Well, as you may be able to see, it's another lovely morning here. Unfortunately, we are both sustaining injuries at the moment. Liz, stupidly, was doing the washing a few weeks ago in the boatyard and attempted to lug a whole load of washing in a bucket back to the boat, and she's done her back in. And I seem to have wrenched my shoulder somehow, but just now pulling the outhaul on the main has rendered it basically useless. So we are the cripple crew, as Liz refers to us. Joys of sailing, eh?
It's always interesting bringing the anchor chain up and the snubber, because there's quite often things attached to them. Usually they're fine, sometimes it's nasty mud, but in this case, some little animal overnight has decided that our snubber would be a really good place to lay its eggs.
Well, despite the disabilities, we've decided to get all the sails out and turn the engine off. It's very close hauled, which is actually one of Esper's favourite points to wind. She handles going into wind very well. So yeah, we could probably do with tightening some of the sails, but just can't get that winch action in this arm, I'm afraid. But it's good enough. We're doing over 5 knots in about 10 knots of wind, which is great. Now we're in the lee of Penang, so obviously the wind has dropped. But what I love is when we come out the other side and you get shot out like a bullet out of a gun. And it's quite exhilarating when you pick up that wind again, so looking forward to that. Doing 7 knots in 20 knots true and close haul, so we're pounding through these waves. Behind me you can see possibly that we've reefed the main. The main wasn't doing anything. We've got all the sails out, so no reefs in the sails, but we put a reef in the main because all it was doing was pushing us over unnecessarily. We put a reef and a half in it, I suppose, and it hasn't made any difference to the speed, and it's just evened the boat out a little, so it's all good, isn't it?
This morning I woke up very early and couldn't really get back to sleep, so I desperately needed some time off. So we stayed at Pulau Bunting until about 11:30, thinking we might stay there for the whole day, when in fact the wind picked up and we thought, sod it, just let's go. So we're on our way to Langkawi. We won't get there till night, but with this kind of wind you've just got to use it when it comes, and as soon as we got the sails up, 7.5 knots. Esper's doing 7.5 knots, so really pleased. We're on our way.
So we appear to have settled on a nice beam reach. Wind is variable, anything between 10 to 15 knots, and of course what we're finding is that our boat speed over ground is anything between 4.5 to sort of 6.5 knots, I suppose. So it does keep sort of fluctuating. As we left, as you heard, Liz was saying we were hitting 7.5 knots, and that's obviously because we're closer to land. So a lot of this is a land breeze coming off, and as we move ourselves away from land, obviously the wind's dropping a little, but it's very comfortable to sail. One thing that you will notice possibly, there's a few ripples in the sail. We've been playing around with the sails, and we just need to tension them up a bit. General rule of thumb is that if you have horizontal ripples, you need to tension the sail more. If you over tension it, then you get vertical ripples, and we've been playing around with the head sail. And also I think what happened was when we were playing with the head sail a couple of months ago, we inadvertently used the wrong halyard and have dropped the main slightly, so the main's a little bit rippled as well. So we'll tension those. We won't do them under sail. We'll wait till we're at an anchorage and it's nice and calm. But in the meantime, nice little sail.
Jamie's just counted 19 fishing boats on our port side, all coming this way. There are a few in the front coming this way, and we just had 2 coming directly at us, and we were going to go through the middle, and then we thought they may have a net between them. It was difficult to tell with the bins. We thought probably not, but to be on the safe side, we went to the port side, and we got a nice big wave from the fishermen.
Quite a sight to behold, I have to say. But they weren't moving really, apart from the one who dumped his net right in front of us. And we read in forums of yachtists complaining about the behaviour of fishermen and how they appear to completely ignore your presence by doing something like that. But you could tell this fisherman knew what he was doing. He needs to haul in his nets. So he dumped them in front of us, but he did a very big U-turn quite quickly, and didn't impede our path in any way whatsoever, so that was pretty cool. But it really is quite amazing to see, because their nets stand out in this sun, you know, this bright yellow colour, and yeah, as I say, just a lot of them all doing it at the same time. Haven't seen that before.
So we came in and we thought we would give the Fisherman's Harbour a try, because it's our favourite place to anchor around the Kwa area, but too much swell, which we thought that might be the problem, because it's a bit open to the northeast there. So didn't bother to lay the anchor, came back round, and now we've chosen this spot. We're the only ones here. Hotel Best Western right behind us, and the marina just slightly off. So we'll see what it's like. We've not anchored here before, but it seems very quiet and it's quite peaceful, and at the moment it's flat.
It's an early morning update. We have left Langkawi having checked out, and we left early before light because we wanted to catch the tide as we go up the side of Langkawi. This particular bit around the top northwest corner, if you get the tide wrong, and we're on a very strong spring tide at the moment, it can be a little bit frustrating. The speed tends to get halved, so we just wanted to get around this bit first. But lovely beautiful sunrise over Langkawi there. Got a little bit of a storm happening over there, but we've yet to decide where we're going to go. The first option is about 40 miles away, and the next one is about 60. The plan is to get up to Krabi to start work on our hard dodger in preparation for our adventure northeast. And we have a slip there. So we want to get up there as quickly as possible to start doing the work before a couple of other commitments, which we'll talk about another time. So this potentially is possibly the last time that we will ever go up this way. Kind of feels a bit weird. Which we've been to before, and it's actually one of my favourite spots in this area. It's rather dramatic, extremely steep stack, very long and thin. But the other thing I love about this area as well is that there's no tourism. It's just a little bit too far out from the tourist hotspots. They tend to go to Koh Rock and Koh Ha, and this is a little bit further down, so there's no one around except lots of fishing flags. Impressive, isn't it? It's rather splendid. This definitely one of my favourite stacks in this area. Should have put the drone up, but did you know it is now illegal to fly a drone without a licence in Thailand? And I think that it's pretty much banned in all national parks, and I think this is counted as a national park, which is a shame. So this is why we love Lanta, and it's why we love our ketch. Lanta always has katabatic winds in the northeast, so it's always good sailing up and down here on the whole. And of course with the ketch, it just means that rather than slogging it up there, we've just got the staysail out and we've got the mizzen out, and that's all we need for a nice gentle sail, even though the wind is what, 13 to 15 knots, so it's, you know, it's blowing a bit. I should also like to thank Anna and Gary off Zephyr, who we bumped into last night. Never met them before, but they'd seen our channel, and we ended up spending a very nice evening with them. And on the way back, lo and behold, it turns out, because they are selling their boat to change boats, they had a spare kayak going. So we struck up a deal, and now we have a kayak each, which is really exciting. there we go. 2 countries in 15 minutes, 200 miles and a lot of sailing. Hope you enjoyed that.
It was good sailing. I love that sailing. Some of the best sailing we've had for, well, probably most of the time we've been in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was just a lucky run, I think. It's been a good season for sailing. And as Liz says in the video, when you get those winds, you just have to make the most of them. And that's exactly what we did. So.
You do, because I mean, anyone who is in this part of the world on a boat knows it's pretty much motor sailing most of the time, to be honest.
We are now up to date. We are back in Krabi. The next few episodes are going to be covering off the technical and maintenance side of our preparations for our journey to the Pacific Northwest. And they include, Elizabeth.
Well, first of all, we're building a fully enclosed dodger. Well, at least a dodger that you can fully enclose. So that's the first major thing, because we can't go across an ocean with Oyster's current system.
Yep. Then we've got quite a bit of paintwork to do. Now over the years, Esper's got a little bit heavier and heavier and heavier, and her waterline needs adjusting. Specifically the back end, I've been spending a lot of time having to scrape that waterline of barnacles, so we do need to do something about that. So we're just going to adjust the waterline slightly. There's a bit of touching up to do where we lost the metal plate. If you remember, we talked about that in our survey episode. We lost the bow plate at the front.
We did.
When that came away, there's a bit of paint missing, so there's a little bit of touching up. There's we're going to put.
Before we do all that, we have to do the rigging.
We have to do
we've got to do rigging. So we're re-rigging the boat, and we'll do that while we're in the water. So we won't haul out to do the painting and everything else till the rigging's done. So that's the big thing now. We're just waiting to get that sorted out.
Yeah, we're working with a friend called Jai, who's based up here, and he specialises in rigging. But we're going to work with him together on this project because we want to be involved, and more importantly, of course, we want to actually cover it in our episode. So if you have any questions, please do get in touch regarding rigging or any other boat maintenance questions you may have. Don't forget, of course, that our Patreons get first priority. So if you're a Patreon, you're absolutely guaranteed to get a response from us, and we'll make your questions a priority on our videos. But yeah, we've got some really, I think, exciting ideas for the next month or two whilst we are in Krabi. So we're going to make them as interesting and as informative as possible.
Yeah, so we're do a week by week catch up, and it will include all of those sorts of things and any other shenanigans we may get up to while we're here in Krabi. Of course, the one thing we haven't mentioned is heating.
Oh, of course, yes. So we think we're going for a diesel heater. A couple of people have suggested we should be getting both types of heating systems, forced air systems and diesel heaters. So there's a few things that is going to be happening whilst we're in Krabi. We're going to make sure we cover them all off in our episodes, just to keep you informed and entertained.
On a week by week basis.
Yes, watch our cock-ups
here.
Oh
yes. I'm really hoping we can get these 3 major things done before the end of June, because that will still give us enough time to leave this area and get over to Borneo, and then once we're in Borneo we can do a whole load more work. But if we can get these 2, well, the rigging and the painting and the hard top, get all that done, we can go.
In the meantime, don't forget to please share this video. It really helps us if you share this video. If you've got a friend you think might find this particular sailing episode of interest, then send them a link. If you're not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel, because it means you'll get notified when we bring out a next episode or an extra. And what else? Comments. We love reading your comments. You know the score.
Like
it. But in the meantime,
peace and fair winds.